Hi guys, my name is Tatiana. I'm an astrologer and psychotherapist, and in this video I want to share with you the rule of 1 month. So this is kind of like a little series where I talk about the rules which I have for myself. So the rule of 1 month is connected to astrology, as well as the rule of 1 day, which I posted earlier. And it is about planets which move through one sign approximately within 1 month. It can be a little bit longer or a little bit shorter depending on the planet. For example, Sun goes through one sign of zodiac within 30 days. Mercury and Venus move with approximately similar speed, a little bit faster or slower depending on their speed. Usually Sun does not have such a big difference in speed as some other planets have, depending on whether they are retrograde or direct and at what stage of their directness and retrograde state they are. So my point is that usually within 1 month something can change quite drastically. For example, Sun was in Aries, where it's very strong and kind of joyful, proactive and full of energy, and then it moves into Taurus in 1 month, and then it doesn't want to be as active. It wants to chill out a little bit more. It wants to be very practical, to make more rational and thought through decisions about investments and things like that. Whereas Aries Sun might be a little bit more spontaneous and reactive and maybe even creative in some way. Both of these signs have a certain element of creativity, but they might feel differently for different people. If we take a look at your natal chart, and you have planets which are generational planets. For example, I have Pluto in Libra. Whenever Sun moves along Aries, I can't say it's my favorite time, although I have Venus in early Aries. That's usually a nice time. I can meet people, for example, with whom I relate in a good way, or some just like feel better. When Sun moves further in Aries, then it will oppose my Pluto and Pluto of many of my friends, because they usually have Pluto in the end of Virgo and up to all Libra. I have friends actually with big age difference. They can be either older or younger than me. I don't have many friends of my age, ironically, just because of my positions in the chart. And so I know already from experience, I just started monitoring it recently, that actually it does affect many people. Sun moves quite fast, so we might not notice it that much. But in some cases, it can be quite noticeable, especially say if Pluto is part of the T-square with, I don't know, Saturn, Mars or something. So then Sun will be on the other side, and it kind of completes that T-square, and it's like ego power struggles, or maybe some kind of stubbornness as well. There could be a lot of different things. Also, Mercury and Venus move approximately at 1 degree per day, similar to Sun. They can move slower though when they're closer to their retrograde state. Mars moves approximately 1 degree through 2-3 days, depending how fast it is. I actually never checked it really exactly. I should probably check it to know. But that's just like a rough estimate. Whereas Saturn and even Jupiter can be for quite a long time on the same degree. Saturn was forever this year on like around early degrees of Pisces. So for some people who have planets in mutable signs and early signs, it would make in a position of square or conjunction, so it might be a little bit tough. Another thing which I want to mention for the rule of 1 month is how Moon moves through the signs. So moon cycle is about 29 days, and we also, astrologers, look at lunar return, and maybe some of you know that term solar return when we take a look at the chart of the year. So Moon moves through all signs within 1 month, and then each time the lunar return will differ a little bit. And I would say some slower planetary transits would be the same. For example, if Pluto stays for a long time on a specific sign and it moves very slowly, and like as an example, it's been on my Mercury and Mars like in the last 5 years roughly. So it kind of goes for 1 degree-ish per year or per 2 years. It depends, like it's hard to estimate, but it just feels forever because it also influences, even if it's not in exact conjunction, but within 2-3 degrees on each side. So in that lunar return, because we take position of the moon, it doesn't change, it's always the same. Slower planets might be in similar aspects to your moon throughout a few months, unless they move really fast. Like for example, Uranus, or Uranus, however you call it, was in a trine to my moon in the last 2 years, on and off. And but the faster moving planets, they would make different aspects, or don't make any aspect. So also, so that is something interesting to also kind of research. You can create a lunar return chart on astro.com, and I have a video how to create a natal chart, and in extended chart selection you can choose their lunar return. Maybe I'll do a different video on that. Apart from personal planets like Sun, Moon, Venus, Mercury, Mars also moves quite a bit throughout the month, so it might go away in 1 month from like a tough aspect to your planet. I remember, for example, Mars was, I have Moon on 90 degrees, in the end of 90 degrees of Virgo, and Neptune was in opposition to that Moon for quite a long time. And then also whenever Mars was on each of the ends, either in Sagittarius or Gemini, kind of in that triangle, I felt really either burned out or frustrated, or some kind of like strange emotional state. It can also bring fires. You have to be careful with fires during those transits. But what I'm saying is that I was always looking forward to kind of have that Mars away from this opposition between a transiting planet, which was Neptune, and my moon. And now Saturn is approaching in a position with my moon. It will make a few of them this year, so yeah, so I will be keeping an eye on these dates. So that's how you can kind of monitor transit and even predict for yourself a little bit those things. Like for example, when I had migraines, and I still have them sometimes, I try to not to overthink that, but I know from experience that, for example, whenever Moon makes a harsh aspect to Saturn or Mars, then it just becomes a bit more complex, so I can get a migraine. So that's how, guys, you can monitor your transits, and I highly recommend to have Ephemeris. I don't have it here, it's in another room, but it's like a really great book. I can put a screenshot on the screen, and a link will be in the description. Buy this book and you can check when transits are happening. There are also apps like Astro Gold. I really love that app. I have to say it's different for Android and iPhone, unfortunately. Yes, there is astro.com, there is AstroSeek. You can also create charts there. Stay well, subscribe to my channel, comment, or maybe if you have suggestions for other topics, and I'll talk to you soon in another video. Stay well.